Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Legacy of the Rimlen. Innocent People Getting Tortured edition, I guess. Well, before we get into why that is this specific edition, I'm going to ask the lovely people who have decided to join me once again to, as usual, introduce themselves briefly and their characters. I've rolled some dice in the background, and the dice have decided that Ashen should go ahead and introduce herself and her character first. Could you please go ahead, Ashen?
Yes, hello. I'm Ash, and I'm playing as Illona, a very sneaky, exiled noblewoman. And yeah, right now they're investigating very interesting things.
Yeah, to say the least. Yeah. Thank you very much, Ashen. And next, according to the dice, we have Show&Tell. Could you please go ahead and introduce yourself and your character?
Sure. Hi, I'm Show&Tell. I'll be playing as Anghel, who's a mute peasant boy, and he right now is trying to be a mute cheerleader. I don't know. Not cheerleader. That's something.
Supportive friend? Question mark? Witness?
Yeah, question mark.
I like the thought of him as a cheerleader better, I have to say.
Yeah, it was the funny image is stuck in my head, but yeah, it doesn't really fit.
We will need fan art of that. Okay. Thank you very much, Show&Tell. And next we have Deli. Could you please introduce yourself and your character?
Yeah, of course. Hello, everyone. I am Deli, and as usual, I am playing as Muninn. They are a scholar from Brightland, and big smarty pants. So, yeah, that's them.
The big smarty pants of the party, although someone else in the party also did a big smarty pants thing. So there's also that.
Was it?
Well, we might be dealing with the fallout of that, because last time, well, we finished the sort of impromptu sort of boss fight confrontation freeway between you guys, the boyar, and his two Tivian guests. The confrontation finished when you guys defeated the boyar, and one of the concessions you extracted from the boyar was Tivians go to bed without your supper, pretty much. And well, you guys enjoyed the rest of your supper, which was fairly luxurious, more or less. You even ate oranges. Yeah, as weird as that sounds. Yeah, you had fun. Joseph and the boy were still like sad because of like something in their past that was brought up during the debates, and well, then you went to bed, and Illona had an interesting dream with someone else speaking to her that's not the guy who was speaking to her before. And that someone else promised her a gift, and when she and everyone else woke up, they found that the male Tivian was dead. And the male Tivian was a character from Illona's past that the viewers only know as the brother of Lawrence, which might come up in the future. Well, naturally, all hell broke loose, because, yeah, someone just died. And while like searching the rooms alongside the servants, you found your party member Jean with like a bloody knife in his hand, and you heard from the servants, oh, a cow has just been killed, and like nothing has been taken from the cow. And then you remembered, oh yeah, the orb lady person that spoke to Illona in her dream likes cow sacrifices, so there's probably a link there. You guys and the boyar woke up Jean. Jean seemed to have no idea what he might have done, and he is currently being taken away to be whipped until he confesses, because as I mentioned last time, it's an actual saying, a good beating is a splinter of heaven, as they say. We sort of left off last time with Anghel and Joseph being invited by the boyar to like witness the whipping, to like motivate John to confess, which is a weird role to say the least. while Illona, Muninn, and Miku were like sort of left behind in the like semi-abandoned estate, because like most of the servants are outside watching the whipping because it's a spectacle. Yeah, you were left inside the estate with the books that you had hidden away. Now, while I turn the background music on, Ashen, Illona, we haven't established last time where specifically you hid the books. Now, as I mentioned, because you used your stunt, I'll allow you to hide them wherever you're like, within reason, obviously. Do you have something in mind?
I'm guessing it would be outside, right? Because they're searching the house.
It can also be inside. It's entirely up to you. Like, because you used your stunt, no matter where you put them, it will not be found until you guys retrieve them.
Okay. Then I would probably, like, rip up a piece of floorboard by the hallway, I guess. If that's allowed, and put them in there.
Sure. Upstairs with the, like, guest quarters, or downstairs where the dining room was?
I think downstairs.
Sure thing. Sure thing. I suppose before we go to the whipping, what are Illona, Muninn, and Miku up to?
That's a good question. I think so. Last time, Muninn was not trying to trying to sort of convince like a pardoning of like torturing, if that makes sense.
And
like they were trying to.
You weren't necessarily successful.
No, exactly. So I think maybe at this point, well, there's two. I don't know. There's two options. Either Muninn. Well, I guess they're safe until we retrieve them, so Muninn doesn't need to go collect their books just yet. Maybe Muninn would go to where the torturing is happening, like as long as like they're obviously permitted to watch.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's gathering around to watch.
Yeah. Okay. In which case, they would they would go over and like sort of, I guess, suss everything out. Yeah, I don't know.
Illona, Miku will, unless you do like something really stupid, follow you, Illona. So what do you do? Miku does
Good
not
question.
know. Miku does not know where you hid the books, by the way, for reference's sake.
I'm thinking, since everybody else is by John, maybe it's a good idea in case something would happen that Illona like stays outside. So I'll be like outside the
estate?
location where it's happening.
Well, it's happening in the like courtyard of the estate. So like the building itself is mostly empty because most of the servants have gone outside to watch the event.
Okay. Maybe I'll like stay and sneak in the house in that case. Like, if it's unguarded.
Sure. Are you planning to like rob the place?
No, maybe just like look for clues or stuff.
Sure.
Find out more about the weird.
Well, are you like, you mentioned looking for clues. Are you looking for clues as to last night's incident or as to like the boyar himself? Or I guess anyone else who was housed in this estate?
Yes, both. Like also the Tivians, a bit of everything.
Well, I'm asking you, where do you go first? I
go to the
You know, like obviously where the guest quarters are, and obviously where the Tivians were. You know, whatchamacallit, like the downstairs dining room. You probably saw the like stables where you presume the cattle slaughter happened, and you have a vague idea of where the boyar's quarters are, but you don't like know very precisely.
In that case, I try to go in the direction where I think the boyar's quarters are.
Sure. Can you give me a careful, and we'll see how well you do depending on your roll.
All right. Oops. Sorry, I didn't mean. Oh.
We'll take the 0.
Oh.
Well, just to verify, for everyone else, the 0 showed up first. Oh, no, that's a careful. I thought it was a forceful. The 0 showed up first for everyone, right?
Yeah. Accidentally double-clicked.
What a difference.
Yeah. I could have sweet victory, but I didn't.
Well, I don't think it's like really possible to like really critically fail, because the estate is like a big building, but not that big. So you like you'll like, probably like wander for a bit aimlessly in the like other portion of the estate, and like maybe you like open a room and you realize, oh, this is like like a whatchamacallit, not servants' quarters, not like the boyar's quarters. Nothing to see here. Fortunately, there are no servants around at the moment. So for the moment, you don't find anything related directly to the boyar, unless you are curious about like his servants, if anything.
Not really. I guess I wander on and trying to find the boyard.
Sure. Since that will take you a little bit of time, let's check up on everyone else meanwhile, okay?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I should ask, because you're being like sneaky at the moment, do you tell Miku not to follow you?
I do.
Okay. Then he looks slightly disappointed, but will go to watch the whipping nevertheless, because that's not something you see every day. Okay. So in the courtyard, first, not John, Anghel and Joseph, you're like walking behind the boyar as he's like dragging Jean by probably the hair, while several servants keep Jean restrained. And the boyar is yelling something in Ziemi that, Anghel, you don't understand. Muninn, are you close by at this point?
Yeah, I reckon so.
You recognize that the boyar is yelling something to the likes of, I'm giving you a last chance to confess your sins, criminal. Everyone is granted repentance if you confess. And Jean is like crying and he's mumbling sometimes. I have no idea what you're talking about. But only you understand that.
Yeah.
And Joseph, but like Joseph doesn't like translate.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I would, or Muninn would translate like right now, but like it's.
No, I think Anghel gets the the spirit.
Yeah, it's not difficult to get the gist.
Exactly.
And eventually the boyar drags Jean out into the courtyard, where most, if not all, of the servants like wander around in like a wide circle to witness, and like you see like a combination of things that like maybe you could witness in like those like say in a gladiator film of like the audience in the arena. Like you'll see a mixture of like people like wanting blood, you see people like worrying for like the victim. You see all these reactions varied among the servants, though obviously they won't like interfere to like defy the boyar.
Yeah.
So
I was actually thinking about gladiators when you were talking about everyone wanting to watch and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's disturbingly similar in feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the boyar drags Jean into the middle of this like wide impromptu circle, and he tells his servants, in Rima this time, undress him. And the servants, unless you stop them, will unceremoniously rip off his clothes, which are actually Anghel's clothes. But yeah.
Oh no.
That's horrible.
Well, Anghel's family's spare clothes, I guess.
Yeah. I guess Muninn would sort of look to Anghel and be like, we need to do something about this. Like, we can't just let this happen.
And Anghel, nods. He feels really bad.
Okay.
Joseph is also with you. Are you saying this so he can hear as well?
Yeah.
Well, what can we do?
I don't know, but I mean, clearly not everyone here is into this either. Like, we wouldn't get a overwhelming like opposition if we tried to stop this. I guess I don't know, but the question is how.
Well, we would get some opposition. These people serve their boyar. If he asks them to do something, they will do it, even if they don't like it. Says
True.
Joseph.
That's true. Well, I don't know. Well, maybe. I mean, some of us have, and above board, we kind of obviously like Show&Tell suggested this earlier. So some of us still have those gold coins, and I mean, we won't be giving them to the Tibian man anymore. So I mean,
well, I mentioned this briefly before you joined the call, Dely, and I'll mention this again because we also talked about it in like the previous episode. Remember like the concessions you extracted from the boyar after you defeated him? I mentioned that you have the option of like foregoing the monetary concession he owes you in exchange for Jean's freedom, and
right.
like not just freedom but also like health. I don't know what's the right term.
Yeah, like well-being, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
The question is if we agree to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm personally down for it, above board.
I should remind you guys that currently you have like really small currency and really big currency and not anything in between. This concession would grant you that in between.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I mean, it is helpful for sure. The
Yeah,
question
definitely.
is if we can't do without it.
Well, yeah, I don't know. As far as what can we do without? I mean, there's obviously the idea of just going in and being like, stop, and like.
Yeah, I'm telling you, honestly, Anghel is very agitated at this point, I think.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
He might do something rash.
Joseph would probably like put a hand on your shoulder, Anghel, and whisper, calm down, this won't be pleasant, but it's, well, probably not going to be the last time you'll see something like this.
Yeah, well, he saw. I mean, he's agitated because he knows.
Hmm?
Like, he just, yeah.
Doesn't like Muninn have the ability to read people's troubles and stuff? Because if you're not going to go with the money route, maybe that would help.
It could do.
You do have that option, though you already know the boyar's trouble.
Yeah, right. We do.
I suppose I could. Do we know the boyars? Yeah, so we know the trouble, and okay, I could probably use it to learn his main aspects. No, like.
Oh well, you don't have, again, if you want to learn any NPC's aspect, 90% of the time I would ask you to do a careful roll to like investigate them and such. you don't have to like use the trouble for that. You get a free invoke on it because you know it.
Yeah.
But the invoke is again just to like improve the dice roll if it's insufficient, and you don't have to use it.
Oh, okay. I was. Well, I don't know if I was mistaken. Like, like, I think we were suggesting because one of Dely's stunts, one of Munin's stunts, is to learn someone's aspect.
Oh, right.
I don't know if was that what you guys were suggesting, or was I mistaken?
Yeah, that was kind of it. But if you already know his trouble, maybe you can use that as well.
Yeah, for the main. Was it tertiary for the main thing?
Well, with your stunt, you can learn any aspect. I'll let you know that, like, he has his high concept, and he also has a tertiary aspect.
Right.
If you were to, like, try to learn it in a typical way, aka with a careful roll, I would probably require a difficulty 2 roll to learn his high concept, and a difficulty probably 6 to learn his tertiary. I'm not saying that like because the difficulty is high, the tertiary will be necessarily useful. It's just that it's hard to tell it in this context. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting.
You can also do both. I mean, there's more than one player on the scene, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Right. But okay.
Just keep in mind that like learning aspects and that will take in-game time during which Jean will be whipped.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like standing there, like stroking your beard, being like, I wonder. While Sean is screaming in pain.
Poor boy. Well, I mean, I personally don't mind doing the whole exchange thing because, to be honest, it's like having money like changed up, like so to speak, like would be quite useful. Like having having more like change as opposed to like pennies or like $100 bills. You know,
$10,000 bills, really, but yeah.
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. I don't mind doing that, but especially considering it's probably the safest option.
Yeah.
Like giving that up, basically, is what you're saying.
Even it up, did you say?
Giving it up. Like, you don't mind giving it up? I'm trying to understand.
Yeah. No, I don't mind. Because you have to give... Right, yeah. No, I don't mind.
Okay, I think that's the ideal option we have right now.
Okay.
Let's go with it.
Okay.
So just to confirm, you are foregoing the payment the boy promised you in exchange for Jean's freedom and well-being.
Yes. I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, describe how like you walk into the scene and buy Jean's freedom, like as the boy or just order the servants to undress him, and he's asked, Stefan, bring me my whip, and you see a servant rushing off.
Okay. Probably like I feel like show and tell if you don't mind. I feel like Muninn so Muninn would sort of look to show and to Anghel and sort of like just be like, look, listen, like just follow my lead. I feel like this will like change the boyar's mind.
Okay.
And as long as Anghel's like willing to follow and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as
Joseph's on the scene. Miku is not on the scene yet.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So Muninn would motion to Anghel and Joseph and say, like, just follow me. And then as Muninn would like sort of try and attempt to like walk towards like the boyar.
He will look at you and he will say in Ziemi so that John can also understand. Are you here to convince your friend to confess?
Muninn would like shake their head, and in Ziemi they would reply, like, he can't like listen to him. Like, he's innocent. He can't confess to a crime that he didn't do.
Well, the whip will reveal if he did it or not.
I don't think Muninn would say. I don't think that's necessary. Look, if you let this man go and like without any sort of torturing or any whipping or anything, we and then Muninn would like look to Anghel as they're saying this, just to, like confirm if that makes sense. Muninn would say like, we're willing to give up our payment in exchange for this man's freedom.
He looks at you, and again, because I said he will accept this. But he looks at you, and just because he's like a bit of a politician, he'll say, "You know how valuable cattle is."
Yes, but I mean, our payment was also like just as valuable. Surely, I mean, maybe with our payment, that was the payment that was owed to us, you'd probably get more than just like one replacement cattle, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He considers it, and he like takes very slow, almost like menacing steps so that he is now in front of Jean, who is currently sobbing, and he like lifts John up by the chin to like face him, and he says, "Well, be grateful, sinner." And he says this in Ziemi. "Your friends have decided to ransom you." And you see relief on Jean's face. And he says in Rima to his servants, "Let him go." And the servants look at each other confused, but let Jean go.
Hey.
Woo!
Cool. What? So it's his clothes were already like ripped off of him, weren't they?
His shirt.
At this point.
His shirt.
His shirt. Okay.
Oh, just okay.
He's not like bearing everything to the world.
Yeah. Okay, good. I feel like Muninn would try and like offer a hand to like help him up.
Jean will take it. Also, fortunately, it's summertime, so you don't have to worry about the cold.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Perfect.
The servants who are gathered like in the loose circle, like start mumbling. You clearly feel disappointment from the crowd, especially from like the more bloodthirsty people in the crowd. And the boyar will loudly clap his hands and say, "Justice has been served one way or another. What are you all gawking at? Back to work." And the servants grumble but slowly return to work.
Some.
Hey.
I feel like Muninn as well. By the way, because Muninn and Anghel don't really know why he did this.
You mean the cattle killing? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Sorry to clarify. Yeah, the cattle killing.
Right.
So Muninn would probably look to the boyar and say with a nod, they'd like say like, "Oh, like I appreciate this, like thank you, but I mean, you know, we will sort of." I was just gonna make him like Muninn say like, "Oh, if he did do anything with the cattle, or like we are gonna question him about it," sort of thing. Like, does that make sense? I don't know.
The debt has been paid, and honestly, the money you're not giving making me not give you, I suppose. We'll cover... Well, technically cattle thieves are supposed to be whipped as well. It'll cover that.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, we we appreciate it. Thank you, and I'm sure he appreciates it as well.
Right. Well, I think I owe you a letter of recommendation, so I'll be in my study.
Okay.
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 Joseph will walk up to you guys, and after the boy has left, and he said, "For what it's worth, I think you both did the right thing."
What? What? Yeah, I mean, Muninn would sort of like say like, well, we couldn't, I mean, we couldn't sort of let him be like tortured. Like it's unbecoming,
You've never been to Saint Paris, have you? The capital of the place you're in.
I feel like Muninn wouldn't have. So Muninn would say like, I haven't. Does that happen a lot? Does this sort of thing happen a lot there then?
Well, while the war was going on, above board, you guys remember that like a war just ended like a couple weeks ago. I saw the prince beat a prisoner to death, so he shrugs.
Oh my god. Okay.
I feel like Muninn would say like, Muninn would look to them and be like, "Be lucky that wasn't you then," like sort of thing too.
Oh, but he doesn't. Oh, are you talking to Yami?
Joseph was not talking as Yemi, because he wanted Anghel to understand.
Yeah, Anghel is horrified.
Joseph gives you like a half smile that's like a bit of like sorry and a bit of like it's just how it is.
Yeah.
Right. So should we get some clothes for this guy? Or like
Do we have clothes? Oh, I think Anghel packed some. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
Anghel's got a lot of clothes to like for spares, you know what I mean?
Not necessarily clean, but sure. Do you pass Jean one of your spare shirts then? Or your family's spare shirts, rather?
Anghel?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Jean will take it gratefully, and he's mumbling in Ziemi, and Muninn, you understand that he's like rambling. He was completely terrified. Like he just got woken up like with a knife and blood on his hands, and then he was accused of something he's not entirely sure of yet, and he was about to be whipped. Yeah, he's terrified.
That poor guy. That's a lot to go through. I think Angel's kind of patting him on the back.
Yeah. I feel like Muninn would like ask like Muninn would try and like softly like ask them like, look, can when you've calmed down, like we need to talk about this, like.
Yeah, right. They still don't know that he didn't do it. I don't know. It's weird.
Right, exactly.
Jean like nods frantically, but you can tell that he's not really paying attention to what you said.
Okay. All right.
I think at this point, like Miku would walk out of the estate into the courtyard, and he'll see the crowds dispersing and walk up to you guys, and he say, "Did I miss it?"
Yeah, you missed it.
Dude.
All right.
Oh, damn it!
It was over before it started.
He confessed that quickly? Wow.
No, he didn't confess. We had to forego a payment that was due to that was due for us.
What? Why?
Well, there was a lot of people, and I don't think a more direct approach would have been viable.
But
Yes, we could
the
confuse
money,
them.
the money.
Mhm.
I know, like Muninn, like Muninn
One
would,
track
like,
mind.
Muninn would like pinch the bridge of their nose and be like, I know, like,
Fuck, is what he says. Meanwhile, Illona, can you give me another careful roll?
I can give you another careful roll right about now.
Okay. You, with that roll, you now reach the, like, actual section of the estate where the boyar's quarters are. But you realize that there are, there are 3 rooms.
Mhm.
And you don't know which is which. And you do hear that the commotion outside has, like, quieted down and people are starting to come back into the estate.
Oh damn. I don't know if I should be doing this.
Right, we didn't think about you. We did all this.
wow.
Let John get a few whippings so that Illona has time to, like, run the place. Sure.
Yeah.
I take the door most to the left.
Okay. The door most to your left, you open it, and you would recognize that it's probably like the first such example that you've seen in, like, this backwater of a country, but it's an actual study with, like, books and, like, writing stuff. This boyar actually knows how to read and write.
Can I look what's on his desk? If there's any papers. While also I keep a close ear if somebody is coming.
Okay.
That's not how you say it at all, is it? That sounded very strange.
A close ear.
First off, give me a careful roll. This is referring to the ear. With that roll, I'll tell you, you will get, like, a couple of, like, investigations before someone will come. But I won't tell you precisely how many. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. So first thing you're checking is the boyar's desk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I want to see what he's been writing and any interesting stuff there.
First of all, you will recognize that there's a blank piece of parchment placed, which presumably would be the, like, letter of recommendation that he owes you guys. Other than that, you would recognize a sealed letter. I guess you would know how to read the script. That is addressed to Marcos, the Patriarch of the East. I don't know if Illona would know what that title means, but that's what it says. It's a sealed letter, like you'd have to, like, unseal it to read it.
Is it laying very, like, would he notice it if it went missing? Is it, like, very upfront, or is it, like, kind of...
The only things that are on his desk are, like, the blank parchment, the, like, ink and quill, and that letter.
Okay.
Just
Can I, like...
Go ahead.
Can I hold it up to the like window and, like, trying to see through it if I can, like, spot some inky words there?
Sure, give me a careful check, and depending on the roll. With that roll, all you would recognize is that it's, like, signed and, like, also has, like, a seal on the inside, which would mean that it's not, like, a secret encrypted letter.
Okay. Does he have like drawers on his study desk?
That's what I was about to mention. There aren't drawers. It's just like a table that's like made of like pretty much a block of wood, pretty much. No IKEA drawers or anything. But he does have a big library, like to one side of the room, and to the other side of the room you recognize various weapons.
Okay. I don't think anything here is too interesting for Illona, so she would probably exit the room by now.
Do you take the letter with you or not?
I don't.
Okay, sure thing. You exit the room, and you hear, like, in the distance, booted footsteps coming in your direction.
Ooh.
I guess this would be a bad time to get caught here, because that would look very suspicious. Like, just to know the layout of the... is there windows in every room, or is it like some room that would be placed to like another wall or something?
Again, no windows, just holes in the wall. For the study, yes, there was a hole in the wall. The hallway you're in, like, it's a dead end that leads into like these three rooms, pretty much.
Okay. Is the hole in the wall big enough to squeeze a human through?
I would say so, but you recognize that, like, it won't be like an easy drop. You might get hurt a little bit. Not fatally, definitely not fatally. You're not very high up, but you might get hurt on the drop.
I'm gonna go with that. I'm willing to risk that.
Okay, so you're going back into the study and exiting via the quote-unquote window?
Yes.
Okay. Can you give me either careful or forceful, and I'll roll something to oppose you?
Doesn't that sound a bit sneaky to you, maybe?
Well, this is to see like how you take the fall, not to like...
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna take forceful, so... Oh, crap.
Oh no.
How do
Should've
you...
taken forceful.
How do you fall pretty badly?
I guess... like, as I fall, Illona's, like, mantle or dress or something kind of gets stuck, and she, like, completely loses balance in her fall and, like, falls on her back, flat.
Sure.
Oh.
God.
Thud.
That hurts as much as it sounds, but you recognize that you'll be able to, like, get up, and, like, if you suppress your, like, groans of pain, you'll probably be undetected.
Okay, I do that. I suppress all the groans. No groans for me.
Can you give me a forceful roll, difficulty 2, to see if you do that?
Screaming out. Ah!
Pretty much at this point. Fortunately, the boyar is not, like, there yet, so, like, everyone in the courtyard hears the pained groans of Illona. The boyar doesn't, because he still has a bit of a way to go to get to the study.
How does the surrounding look like? Is it very, like, obvious that I fell up the window? Or could have just, like, fallen on my own?
Probably. Like, the only thing here is, like, more holes in the wall and, like, tall grass.
Okay. I'm gonna do, I try to get up, and, I'm thinking here, like, is it a smart thing? No. I was thinking maybe, like, I pretend like I was in a fight. But I would still be suspicious where I was there.
Currently,
I
there's
think...
no one near you.
Okay.
Like, everyone in the courtyard, aka including the player characters, hear Illona's groans of pain. This also includes some servants who will come to investigate. but
God,
no
maybe we
one's...
should go to investigate as well.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good idea.
I guess I go away from the scene then.
Well, give me a quick roll, Illona, then Anghel and Muninn also give me quick rolls, and I'll roll a generic servant quick to oppose, okay?
Please be good. Please be good.
Ah! No!
Gosh.
Illona,
All of that.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
not
These
quick.
servants are quick.
so what happens, Illona? You struggle to get up, and you manage to get up, but because of your injury, you fall flat on your face. Not particularly hurting you or anything. You see servants rushing in. Meanwhile, in the front of the courtyard, Angel's like, "Oh, there's a pretty butterfly," and Muninn's like, "Wait, was that Illona's voice? Not so sure."
My God.
Unless you want to spend fate points, of course.
Oh, I forgot I could do that. I mean, the servant is still 4.
Yeah. I feel like, well, I mean, any one of us can re-roll, but
Yeah.
if we're gonna go the route of, improving our roll, I feel like I should, but then I don't know. Did you want to, re-roll, Illona?
If I still can, I would probably want to do that.
Of course you can.
Yes. I will re-roll. And it's quick, right?
What are you invoking?
Running from a past life, I guess.
Sure
Yeah.
thing. Give me a reroll. I'll take away one of your fate points.
Here you go. Oh, come on.
Oh man.
Good news, you're no longer face planted. You fell forward, but you managed to catch yourself.
What different that makes.
You're able to try to crawl away.
So undignified.
Should either Anghel and I roll to try and get to you first? Do you think? Like,
I mean, my quick is 1, so I think.
a
There's
quick
no
2.
I don't know if it's worth it.
I can try with a reroll.
What are you invoking?
Very good question. Maybe. Oh, kind of. I feel like keen eyesight would be one of would be the aspect. So like maybe Muninn would be more likely to see. So when they look to see where the sound's coming from, they'd be more likely to see Illona, if that makes sense.
Well, you're on the opposite side of the building at the moment. I'm not discrediting the eyesight thing. I just ask you to give me a little bit more of an explanation for me to accept it. Because you're not in visual range of Illona yet.
Okay. In that case, I'm not really sure. It's the part of the same aspect says a sense of smell as well, like keen sense of smell. So I'm just thinking in my head I can smell Illona from here, but
Wow.
that's kind of mean. That's kind of mean. I didn't.
He's stinky.
Yeah, I don't mean it. To be honest, I'm not. I don't really think I have a good enough aspect.
Well, again, I'm not discounting keen eyesight that you mentioned. I just asked you to give me a bit more of an explanation as to why it would apply in this case. Okay?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like you don't see Illona, but maybe you see something else, for example.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe the eyesight would be like, so the people that did hear Illona, like initially at least, Muninn would be able to tell like the fact that like people are like looking around and like turning their heads and stuff like a lot quicker than maybe the people would realize to like start like looking, if that makes sense. I don't know.
That makes perfect sense, and I will accept that explanation. You're using it to improve your roll, to reroll.
To re-roll.
Then please do. Then please do.
All of that. That's okay.
You think you heard Illona's voice? Probably.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I'm not sure if there's anything else I can. What about? What about you, Anghel? I'm just looking at.
Honestly, I do have my stunt though, so I could get out of this still. I don't think I would need my stunt more in the game, so I could use it at this.
Let's hope.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like a good idea. Because yeah, again, it's like
it is kind of like a desperate situation, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Sure thing. So, I think what will happen narratively is like, again, you groan in pain and you like try to stand back up to get away, but you fall because of the fall you took. No pun intended. And you like hear servants' voices like, is someone there? I think I heard someone. And someone says, oh, let's check it out. I think it's in the back. Blah 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 blah. And you, because I mentioned there's tall grass, you probably start crawling through the tall grass, and because there's like probably a gentle gust of wind, the disturbance you make in the tall grass goes unnoticed as like servants come to investigate.
Snake woman, let's go.
Oh yeah.
You'll hear of not familiar, the chuckle of a familiar female voice in your mind as you do this.
Oh, okay.
Oh no. It's the cattle god.
But yes, you successfully escape.
Okay. Well.
Okay, good. Sweet.
Above board, just for like reference's sake, since you didn't know, Ashen, how many tries you would have gotten to like inspect stuff, etc., etc., I was going to give you 3 tries. You only used 1. Okay. Just for reference's sake.
All right.
Nice.
Okay. So all the party members except Illona are like gathered in the courtyard lamenting the loss of their money. And Illona, you are free to emerge or not emerge as you see fit because of your stunt.
I guess I would join back up with Muninn and Anghel as soon as possible.
You probably come right out of nowhere, and you probably startle Miku.
Okay.
I'm thinking of that, like, is it from The Office, that gif from The Office, where like the guy sneaks up behind the guy with glasses? I don't know. Maybe I'm.
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean because I haven't seen The Office. So
yeah.
You want to see the gift though.
Yeah, the audience will know what I'm talking about. I'm going to link it in the Discord, but obviously, like, that's neither here nor there.
Okay, I'll make a note to show it on screen.
Okay, sweet. So are you? So you're back with us then, Illona?
Yeah.
Okay.
They gave away the money, says Miku.
Oh,
We
paid him off?
saved someone with the money, says Joseph. Miku still looks unhappy.
I smile at Mika. I'm like, that's great. That's awesome. Good job.
What's great about that? People die all the time.
I'm like
God.
giving you like, what? Yeah, what? Kind of look.
And I miss the show too. He like kicks at the dirt.
Yeah, Muninn would probably say like, yeah, we like, we stopped, would like as in say to Illona, we stopped a torturing before it could happen, but I mean we still don't really know why, like, the like cow was killed. Do you know what I mean? Like why?
This is Miku speaking. The servant said nothing was taken from the cow. Who would do that?
Well, exactly.
Like, are we in the crowd or are we just like the group
You
of us?
are like you will not be overheard at the moment.
Okay, I will like lean in to everybody and be like, I need to tell you something. I think I know how this happened.
Really? What do you think it? What do you think it was?
Was it the water witch? Says Miku.
I'm like,
we need to remember this witch though.
I'm like worse. So last night, I had a
Strigoi.
dream.
Sorry.
Not. Last night I had a dream, and it was from the orb. There was this shadow woman who said she wanted like out with all of the new and in with all of the old, and she seemed very like prone to animal sacrifices, and she said that she requires like specifically cattle and cows, and she was gonna give me a gift. And I wake up in the morning, and that Tibian man is dead, and somebody slaughtered a cow. That's not a coincidence.
Reminder that Joseph and Miku don't know about the orb.
Oh, okay, right.
Oh, true.
Now they do.
Yeah, now they
Well,
do.
they know something about an orb, but that's like, I have this Christmas tree ornament. That's
Yeah, right.
basically like saying that. They
Wow.
look at each other confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Muninn would ask, like, do you have the orb on you now? Like, to Illona.
I would nod.
So, because just to clarify, like, Illona told everyone about the other dream before, didn't she? Or not?
I don't think
Yeah,
I
I
did.
don't remember about that.
Yeah.
She did? Okay.
Well, just in case, I think that, like, Muninn would ask, like, is this the first time this has happened? Like, this seems really out of the blue, but I mean, weirder things have happened with this orb, I guess.
The first time, I didn't really want to believe it happened, but I also had a dream before. But nothing like happened in reality then.
What with the same? Was it the same person that spoke to you?
No, this one was different. This one seemed very dark.
Anghel, Miku starts hiding behind you. 'Cause you're the
She
tallest.
she just wanted like death and very destructive things. This one.
Yeah, okay,
Interesting.
that sounds bad.
Illona, do you mind if I like Muninn would like motion to, like hold out their hand, be like, Illona, do you mind if I hold on to the orb for now? I'm interested to see like, I kind of want to study like this anomalous sort of stuff happening.
Can I hand it over to him without it being seen, or is it like the servants and everything see it?
Again, the servants are not in eavesdropping range, but that doesn't mean you're invisible. Above board, it will be a sneaky roll opposed by the servants careful. I would also ask, are you trying to conceal this from Joseph and Miku?
Probably not. I mean,
Anghel can assist by blocking the
We could
view.
also go and like Illona would say, maybe this is not the time to pass it on and like
Yeah,
look
right.
around.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that
That does
that
make
could
sense.
be
Yeah.
But above board, Angel can assist, yeah.
okay.
Okay.
All right. Well,
So we're just not going to explain ourselves to Joseph. We can just do. I'm happy with that.
Let me make a roll. He like furrows his brow, but he definitely has no idea what you're talking about. I would have required like a critical success for him to get something.
so
For who? For Miku or?
This is Joseph.
Oh, okay.
Miku says, "Are you a Strigoi?"
I don't even know what that is, but no, I'm not.
He doesn't appear he doesn't appear to be convinced. Angel, you would know. A Strigoi is basically like what Bram Stoker used as inspiration for the vampire, but
Oh, wow.
it's different. You would know that there's dead Strigoi, which are like undead, and living Strigoi, which are like witches.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Just called you a witch.
He's asking basically, are you either an undead or a witch or both?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Both, all of the above. No, no, I don't say that.
Again, he
Well-
doesn't appear convinced.
Well, okay.
So what's the plan from here? Do you think? Should we, like, are we, like, are we? I guess it's getting the letter of recommendation. Unless Illona, didn't you just already pick it up? Or
No, I didn't.
okay,
It's not quite written yet. The boy went to write it.
okay,
And above board, he promised, like, reading off the list of things he promised you. He promised the letter of recommendation, turning a blind eye to the books, but again, he can't make promises for his servants, and horses for your travel, but no money this time.
Oh, I would say to Muninn that the books are, I hid them in the floorboard. So nobody's gonna know they're there, nobody's gonna look there. But they're in the hallway, under the floor.
Above board, nobody's gonna know they're there, and nobody will ever discover them, but someone may discover you taking them, if you're not careful.
right, yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
In that case, should we make our way to? Should we get these horses? But obviously, let's not leave until, like, at the very least, let's not leave until we've got the letter. Like, does that sound good to everyone? Or
Yeah. We could also like look at the letters that Illona encrypted and also like hand over the orb when nobody's looking.
that's true. Okay, sweet.
Right. I think Anghel doesn't know anything about. Does he? He knows
The letters.
anything about the letters?
I don't think you know how to read, but like, basically.
About the existence of the letters.
Oh. I don't think he
What?
does.
Thanks, you
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. No, it's fine. I don't think he knows too much. You couldn't have anyway.
If you say letters out loud, Joseph will say, look, am I part of the group or not? Are you gonna let me and Anghel in on what all this is?
Well,
I don't think we said the letters out loud, right?
If you don't say it out loud, then he won't say that.
Okay.
Okay.
We probably shouldn't mention it just yet then.
No.
But I feel like when we're on the road, we could probably mention it. Unless, do they have to go back anywhere at any point? Like, do we have to return them? I feel like we do.
The letters, yeah, Illona was hired to deliver them.
Oh, okay.
The horses? Oh, the letters?
Right. Yeah, the letters. Okay. In that case, I feel like, I feel like Muninn would try and go, like, look for the boya.
He mentioned he was going to his study.
Yeah. Okay. Well, perfect. That sounds like a good place for Muninn to go. And, like, you know, like, regardless of the boya, do you know what I mean?
Sure. So, like, what are you guys doing? Muninn, I take it you'll head to his study. I'm guessing to, like, skip on time. You'll ask Illona where the study is, so you don't have to roll carefuls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe Anghel goes with him. I mean, I'm thinking it is the letter that he's, you know, that it's for his sister story.
Right, so Anghel would go anyway. Well, I mean, I guess everyone would go to the study, right? Or, I mean, unless you Illona.
Joseph will not, like, stop you, but he'll say, maybe not try to upset our host.
By everyone going?
Yeah, like while he's writing a letter.
Okay.
True.
Makes sense.
Again, he's not going to stop you, whatever you do. This is just like him saying that in character.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe it's better than Muninn goes. Muninn actually understand what's written there, so maybe.
That's true. I feel like after hearing that, Muninn would probably just say, "Well, I can wait outside of the study, and as soon as, I mean, assuming that he doesn't take too long, I'll wait for the boyar to sort of, you know, come give me the letter. I'll be waiting outside."
Well, let him know you're waiting outside. Don't just like wait for him to open the door and like stumble into you.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. So yeah, I'll do that.
Anghel and Illona?
We prepared the horses. Do we get to choose?
Above board, you will be brought some horses. You don't get to you like get to distribute them however you'd like, but you don't get to choose from them.
Okay.
And like what the boyar will ask of is, you can have these horses until you get Willa back, but after that, please give them back to me. But this is more like an honor system thing. He'll probably like send people after you if you don't return them, but again, more of an honor system thing.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, I want a horse.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, how much would it be to like buy one? But I imagine it would be like a lot.
Yeah.
Several silver coins.
Oh. Okay.
Not super expensive, but
But we don't have
above
silver
your,
coin.
yeah, above your budget.
Mm-hmm.
We need to somehow, I don't know, at least convert some of our gold coins to something more manageable somehow. We did talk about banks, right? At some
Yeah,
point.
but the nearest bank is hundreds of kilometers away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were considering the whole courier thing, weren't we?
Again, gold coins is usually something like either states or nobility deal in, not common people and common merchants.
Mm. Yeah. So the whole courier thing would, well, I mean, depending on who we hire, it will be a risk. I mean, it'll be a risk anyway, just because of like traveling the road and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like whenever you've left a village in this adventure, you've always met a bandit. So
Yeah, exactly. Well, then.
Yeah, that is a problem.
So, what should we? I mean, what's everyone else doing? By the way.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, do we like? I mean, we're just waiting for the horses. I don't know.
I mean, if you want, you
Or we
can like say that you go and like prepare for the journey, like take stock of the horses, load up whatever supplies you're carrying, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that
Sure.
makes sense.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think.
I'm kind of looking forward to if you guys like forget about the books and leave them in this house forever.
I was just thinking about them, so don't worry about that.
Yeah. I'll never leave them.
So, Muninn, you're going to the Boyar study. Anghel and Illona, are you preparing the supplies, or are you going for the books?
I guess I could go for the books. Well, Anghel readies the supplies.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Let's deal with Illona first, because that will probably end quicker. Illona, as
sorry.
you.
Sorry.
I thought you said something. Okay. So Illona, remind me, you hid them downstairs, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Downstairs is fairly. Well, actually, not super busy. It's still fairly early in the morning. Like, what woke everyone up was like the shrieks of the Tivian lady. I'd say I'll require 2 sneaky rolls opposed by 2 servant rolls to retrieve the books sneakily. One will be to like lift up the floorboard, another will be to like take the books and put it back in.
I just thought, like, show and tell. If you want to do it together, we can do that as well. I didn't mean to like split up like that. If you want to help me retrieve the books, that would be
Sure,
awesome.
whatever. Like, yeah, I don't mind. I mean, if it's going to be maybe helpful if we do it together.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So let's do that.
And Anghel appears.
Same thing, except Anghel will provide you with an assist. Just for reference, Joseph and Miku will probably be busy with the like mundane supplies and all that.
Okay.
So, Illona, give me a sneaky roll with Anghel assisting you, and I'll pose with a servant careful.
Just before that, is it possible to do like a distraction? Like that either of us, either me doing a distraction or Anghel?
Sure. And we'll treat that as you creating an advantage before the actual roll, okay?
Okay.
So what's the like distraction?
From Illona's perspective, I think she could pretend like something else bad had happened, or like that she saw somebody running away to the cows or something. I think that's about it that I can do.
Sounds flashy or sneaky.
Yeah, but like Anghel can also like, I don't know, if you want to make a distraction.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
No, sure.
I mean, it's more about, body movements.
Or you could like
For
carve
sure.
something. You could like
Yeah,
carve a
I was-
servant like here.
I guess. Do we have like a lot of servants around? Or
No, it's too early for like breakfast at the moment, so the servants that are around aren't staying there. They're just like passing through, but since the dining room is fairly central, there's always someone passing through basically.
okay. So I don't think. I mean, well, I don't know. Would they stop to watch Anghel carve? I mean,
That will be a flashy roll.
with a flashy. Yep. I mean, Illona, you did say that you could do something sneaky, right? By calling and your sneaky is higher. I don't know.
Hmm.
If you think that.
I
Yeah,
mean,
was that like sneaky or flashy or?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, but also like I'm not limiting you to just one roll or one advantage.
Oh, we can do both?
Yeah, the only thing is that it will take more in-game time.
Hmm. Well-
So, what did we decide? I mean, sure, we can do both, I guess.
Like, that will be... I don't know, if we're creating a distraction for both of us. It's so strange.
I guess I
Yeah.
will say that, like, technically when you try to create an advantage, if you fail, I have the option as the DM to create an advantage for the enemy to use. And, like, both of you doing crazy shit and potentially failing, that might draw more attention on you.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But you do have the stunt as well. That wouldn't require anything of that.
Yeah.
The stunt to get. Which stunt do you mean? To.
The carving,
like-
right?
Oh, to get. Like, I can carve and then get something in return? Yeah, I think that's it. Or I have. Okay.
In return, you can get Illona time to sneak the books out.
Okay.
Here.
If it works that way, that's cool.
I mean, it's your stunt. Your stunt is supposed to be, like, your crazy, overpowered moment, so of course it can.
Okay, cool.
So,
Yeah, I haven't used my stunts in a long time, I feel like.
Anghel, what do you carve and how do you give it to someone to buy Illona time?
What? Well, I guess I could start carving. I don't know, something random. A cat. I don't know why. I just
Sure.
thought about a cat. And give it to servant. I don't know. Like, here.
A cat in a hat?
A
Is that what you said?
No.
I heard that too!
I
Really?
I did not hear that, so.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not what I meant, but
Yeah?
yeah, I don't think Anghel knows who Cat in the Hat is. But
Yeah, probably not.
Sure. You well, not instantly, but almost instantly create this magnificent wooden sculpture of a cat, and you hand it to like there's probably like a servant lady who's telling a bunch of other servant ladies, okay, this is how you're gonna clean up the dead person's room, and then you come up to her and present her with the cat, and her eyes go wide, and she says, "For me, good sir?"
I guess so. Anghel shrunk. Yeah, don't ask him.
Thank you. Above board, what are you specifically trying to get in exchange for the cat?
Enough time for Illona to get the books and disappear.
The servant says, "Well, I suppose we'd best make sure your rooms are clean, are spit clean. Come on, ladies," and like all the servants like rush upstairs to clean your rooms in the assumption that you'll be staying even more.
Aww.
Okay. Anghel almost feels bad that he's not staying. I just want to say that I love it when you describe the way that Anghel, carves something. It's always a pleasure. Always makes you feel like, oh yeah.
I mean, think of it in very like cartoon or even anime terms. Like you're like you're turning around, you're moving your hands in erratic motions, and like smoke's coming out. You turn back and you have a magnificent sculpture, basically.
I love this.
Oh my god, that's so good.
But yeah, because of your stunt, no sneaky rolls required. You'll be able to take the books out of hiding, like replace the hidey hole as if nothing happened, and you'll be able to get the books outside unnoticed.
Oh yeah.
I'll require just like, a sneaky roll to like get the books through the courtyard to the horses. And are you trying to keep them concealed from Miku and Joseph?
They already know about the books, right?
Do you know about the books?
Yeah, Miku does. I don't think Joseph does. Yeah, he definitely doesn't. He definitely doesn't.
I guess I try to do it as sneakily as possible, so I would not necessarily like try to hide it from them specifically, but from everybody. Yeah.
Anghel, are you like assisting Illona by like body blocking or anything else?
Yeah, definitely.
Then Illona, roll me a sneaky, and I'll roll everyone's carefuls against you. Okay?
Yeah. Whoo!
Yeah.
Servants don't see crap. Okay. Not quite. Okay, you managed to sneak past everyone, and I'm guessing you like hide because like horses are like bigger than you guys are, and they like carry a bunch of baggages. You like carry them among the other baggages where they're like almost indistinguishable.
Sounds great.
Can you?
Yeah, horses are a really good idea.
Can you roll me, Illona, a sneaky roll? And this will be like the roll someone will have to beat to like if like they decide to inspect the horses to find the books.
Ooh, okay. Yes.
So they'll have to beat a 5. Let me write that down.
Hey.
Finally turned around. I had like so shits rolls before today. They're looking up now.
Yeah, well, it's about time.
I mean, I guess technically speaking, that roll is just like one more than neutral because you have a sneaky of 4.
Oh,
Right.
now I feel bad again.
Sorry.
But it does mean that there's potential for, for even better rolls. And this is already pretty good. I mean, for us. Like,
Yeah. Sure. Shall we check up on Muninn?
Let's do it.
yeah.
Okay. Muninn, you go and visit. You follow Illona's instructions, and you reach the same like sort of dead end where you recognize. Oh yeah, to the left is the Boyar study, and in front and to your right are 2 rooms that Illona doesn't know what those are about.
Interesting. While the Boyar is busy, could I like poke my head through one of the doors?
Which one, front or right?
Front.
Okay.
For now.
Sure. I'll say that when you start opening the door, you realize this door hasn't been used for a while. It will creak, which above board will be a sneaky roll. Do you still do this?
For now, no. I'll leave it.
Okay.
But then, I mean, whether or not I come back to it, I want to check the other door as well, assuming that the Boyar doesn't come like out of his study.
Sure thing. So you check the door on your right right now? The door to your right leads to a bedroom. Can you give me like a general careful roll, and according to the dice I'll tell you more or less information?
Yeah, sure. There we are.
Okay. With that roll, first thing you'll see is that bed looks pretty big and comfortable. But wait, you haven't met, like, this boyar is unmarried. Like he doesn't have a partner of any sorts. That's odd. Second thing you notice, there's 2 nightstands, for lack of a better term, again wooden furniture, and there is what appears to be like a letter on one of them. But other than that, the room appears to be not bare, but like it has like some decorations, namely a painting, probably the first you've seen in this country, and what looks to be like a ceremonial sword.
Interesting. Could I inspect the painting to see what's on it, like, and you know?
It's fairly easy to tell that it's a battle. Yeah, give me a careful to, like, for me to give you more details. It's a battle between... Well, yeah, you probably would recognize it because you've met Jean and, like, Jean's former comrades. It's a battle between what looks to be Ziemi and Caramels, but there's also, like, some... Like, there's a third faction in the battle, and, like, you see that they're fighting on both sides, basically. Like, it's Ziemi plus third faction versus Caramels and third faction.
Interesting. Okay. And can I ask, the sword on the wall, obviously that would match like some of the swords that are in the painting, obviously.
It's of Ziemi design.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. That's really cool.
You do remember that this boyar knows Ziemi also.
Yeah, so it would make sense that, yeah, make the connection and stuff like that. That's really cool. I kind of really want to, like, ask the boyar more about it, but then at the same time, like, I don't know, like, well, we'll see, I guess. So at this point, I feel like Muninn would walk out the room.
Okay. I wanted to ask if you needed a refresher on, like, what else was in the room or not.
Yeah, could do before I leave.
Okay, so
Please.
There's the painting, there's the ceremonial sword, there's the 2 big bed, and on one of the nightstands is what appears to be a paper of some sort.
Oh, it's a good thing you refreshed me, actually. Could I go over and look at the paper and pick it up?
It's a letter. You can clearly tell. It's written in Rima, actually. Do you read it, or do you pocket it, or?
I will read it for now. Is it sealed?
No.
Okay. I'll read it.
Okay. I don't have, like, the exact contents of the letter at hand. But you easily recognize that it's a love letter from someone named Zarhos to this boyar.
Okay.
Interesting.
Very.
Yeah. I don't think
we know Zarhos is a man?
Because, like, Rima is a gendered language, you would recognize that it's a woman speaking.
Oh, it was a woman, and I totally assumed it was a man. Okay. That's
Okay.
interesting.
I mean, he can love a man if he wants.
No, yeah,
yeah.
that's why I was asking. I assumed it was a man when we talked about him before.
In this specific case, it's a woman. You do recognize that Zarhos is a last name, not a first name.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So it's to clarify, because I want to write this down. To clarify, it's a love letter from someone
To this
from
boyar. Yeah.
right.
And also the name, like, the letter is written in the Rima language, but the name isn't a Rima name. It's a Romi name.
Name. And what was the Zarhos relation to it? Sorry.
Zarhos is the last name of the person who wrote it.
Okay, perfect.
And you remember from like last night's little debates that was a point of contention between the boyar and Joseph for whatever reason.
Okay, interesting. I might take it with me because I feel like I would want to show it to Joseph. I mean, I don't know why. I feel like I'd want to.
We do want to find out about what this whole Zarhos thing is.
Yeah, I do.
But we were warned that it's going to make him cry or something.
That it's going to make Joseph. Well, in the specific context of like last night's dinner scene when he was already like pushed to the brink emotionally.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, you're free to do whatever. All your actions have consequences, but yeah, you're free to do whatever.
Okay. I'll probably take it with me, and then whether or not I show Joseph at the very least. I mean, we can decide at another point. But that's interesting. I'll take it, but then like as I leave so that would probably be the last thing that Muninn does, in the room. So, they would, when they leave, they would try to make it seem as if they weren't in the room. Like, do you know what I mean? They would try and cover their tracks.
I mean, it's easy enough. The only thing you touched was the paper.
Yeah.
So, well, you'd have to return the paper to its proper spot to be completely scot-free, but otherwise, I don't require like a roll from you or anything.
Okay, that sounds good to me. I would keep the paper and just close the door behind me, as it were.
Sure. You now find yourself in the hallway once again.
Okay. I feel like I'll tell you what, hang on. I've got an idea. But I just need to look at my aspects before I do it. Okay, yeah, I have an idea. Okay, I'd like to go over to the creaky door.
Okay.
And I would like to attempt to open it, and then obviously I'll roll a sneaky, assuming that the boyar doesn't come out.
Well, you will roll a sneaky, and I'll oppose with the boyar's careful, basically.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So please go ahead.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay. That's fine, because I do have an aspect for this. So it would be a +2, wouldn't it? If I were to increase.
With fate points, yeah. I'm asking.
Yeah, okay.
Is okay. Go ahead. My bad.
It's okay. So I feel like part of me's thinking, oh, I'll just re-roll, but to be honest, my sneaky's quite low. So if I could, I'd like to use 2 fate points, if that's all right. And as far as aspects, the first one that I originally thought of was very distrusting and secretive. So maybe Muninn would like take extra care to be sneaky, secretive and sneaky, and like try and open the door as quietly as possible.
Sure thing.
And So, and then the other fate point to make it like a 5, which is obviously like would be their main aspect, which is like so Keeper of Secrets. Obviously, that's covered with the other one, but the Seeker of Knowledge part, like they want to seek this whatever's behind the door. You know?
Sure. That works. I'll take it. You managed to like open the door like subtly enough to where the creaking is, well, still audible, but not audible enough to like someone in the next room.
Perfect.
Do you enter?
Yes. Or actually, could I peek first?
You see that it's another bedroom, although much more dusty, and you see that there are also like what's the word? Bookshelves, but instead of books, it's papers.
Interesting. So if I walked in, so that's all there is in this room is just like the bookshelf, basically.
It's all, at least you can tell from like you and standing in the door frame.
Okay. In which case I'd like to sort of walk in to get a better sort of look.
You walk in and, well, I'll say that you immediately realize this room is very dusty. Like every step you make will leave footsteps. Do you still walk in?
Yeah, I think so. But Muninn would only take it's 2 steps in, like both feet, if that makes sense, and then stand in place.
Okay. Well, with only 2 steps, I guess roll me a careful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not really much you can tell. Again, it's a bed. It again looks big, like same size as the other bed, and you aren't able to like really tell those papers in the bookshelf what exactly they are. Some of them appear old, some of them appear newer. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I'll probably leave it at that. I'm very tempted to look at some of the papers on the bookshelf, especially considering, like, I don't know. I feel like I'll leave it at that because it'll be way more obvious that Muninn was in here compared to, like, I mean, obviously Muninn took a letter from the last room, but then like it could just be misplaced, etc. Whereas in here, like, footprints are quite how could you put it?
Apparent.
Apparent, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably leave it at that.
If you do so, you emerge back into the hallway.
Okay. Perfect. Muninn would probably like cross their arms and like lean against the wall as they like wait around.
Just a reminder that like Joseph advised you to like let the boyar know you're there so that he doesn't like run into you.
Oh, that's true. I haven't done that yet. In which case, Muninn would knock on the door of the study.
Come in.
Okay. So Muninn would sort of like open the door, and then like sort of like close it, not all the way, but like most of the way behind them, if that makes sense.
Oh, Master Muninn, well, what is it?
I'm
almost done with your letter.
That's why I'm here, actually. I'm here to collect the letter. I'm more than happy to wait outside, but I'm just letting you know of my presence so that, you don't bump into me.
I just need to sign and seal it. I'll be done in less than a minute.
Okay. In which case, do you mind if I have a look around, like your study?
He looks at you and says, I do mind.
Fair enough.
Like, how should I say this? I do mind if you take a look.
Oh, yeah. No, I can see why, actually. Muninn was probably, like, smirk. Like, try to hide a smirk. But then again, yeah, they would say, like, fair enough. And then just sort of wait with their arms folded.
Well, if you... Where do you come from? Master Muninn, I don't think we... Brightland you mentioned yesterday?
Brightland, yes. I'm a scholar of the university there.
Oh, well... After... I don't have anything ready right now. He says as he's like finishing up the letter. But if you come back here... Well, I'd like to offer you a copy of one of my manuscripts, if you would be so willing to accept it as a donation to the Brightland Library.
Of course. Is that all you wish, just to add it to the library?
Well, with the proper credit, of course.
I don't see why that wouldn't be an issue. Of course, it would probably be needed to be approved, etc. But I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be.
I'm glad to hear it. And he says as he finishes the letter, heats up the seal and applies it. He says, that should work. As he stands up and walks over to you with the letter.
Muninn would sort of fold their arms and like sort of like stand to attention, as I guess, like sort of like be ready to like hold their hand out to like accept the letter.
I know you are a nosy bunch. Best if you don't open the seal. The prince might not accept it. He can be very temperamental. He hands it to you.
So we don't know what it says. Okay.
If you're,
that's interesting.
He'll also add, if you're concerned, it's just a standard letter of recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Muninn would take the letter, and carefully, like, sort of, I guess, pocket it if they can. And then sort of nod and say, like, well, thank you very much for this. Like, I mean, we won't sort of. You have my word, and like no one would sort of open it beforehand.
I mean, it doesn't really affect me if you open it or not. It will affect you if you do.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Well, thank you very much. Anyway, I believe everyone outside are gathering the horses, so we'll be out of your way like soon enough.
Well, I should come and see you out. And he like gestures for you to like lead the way.
In which case Muninn would nod and then sort of Muninn would do so and sort of like make their way to like outside.
Mm-hmm. With the boyar more or less in tow. He wouldn't like talk to you about anything. You can ask him if you'd like. On the way, that is.
Yeah. I feel like Muninn would ask about the sword. So Muninn would say something like, as they're walking, like... Oh, actually, I don't know if the Muninn would say that.
Well, keep in mind that you weren't supposed to be in the place where you saw the sword.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. No, in which case Muninn wouldn't say anything either.
Okay. So outside, as you guys are preparing the horses with plenty of awkward silence to go around, yeah, Muninn and the boyar emerge.
Okay.
So whose horse is whose then? Like,
I don't. I don't have like anything specific in mind for the horses. They won't be of like crap quality or anything like that, because these are still a nobleman's horses. But he definitely wouldn't lend you like the best, if that makes sense.
yeah, that makes sense.
And again, you don't need like the best horses, because you're traveling somewhere. You're not like going into battle. At least you're not planning to.
That makes sense.
How does the horses look like?
This specific like breed is like a bit on the smaller side. It's definitely smaller than what you would be used to, Illona. Because the horses where you're from are definitely on the larger side and more on like war horse made for like charging knights or whatever. These are like horses that, if they're used in warfare, they're used for more like light cavalry, if that makes sense. So they're definitely smaller and lighter, but faster.
Okay.
Cool.
But again, these are not like war horses, they're travel horses.
Yeah. Awesome. I feel like Muninn would approach Illona, and just sort of like ask like, did you get like, or well, not just Illona but Anghel too.
Meanwhile, the boyar would like take Joseph aside to talk about something with him.
Okay. Muninn would look to both of them and ask like, do you both have like, I didn't get a chance to like get them like while we were walking out. Like,
Yeah, I guess Anghel is pointing at one of the bags or something.
Okay.
Illona's like super excited about it. Like, yes, he did a great carving with this. He totally like he was the star here. Like pointing at Anghel.
What Muninn would like look to Anghel with like, what did you make this time?
Well, how do you imitate a cat? I don't know.
I like imagine him doing like the roar thing with the hand.
Yeah.
Cat ears,
Like
I guess.
hand. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to go with that. It was just the way I saw it.
Yeah.
Maybe like a pounce, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever you imagine.
Yeah.
Go with it.
Okay. Well, Muninn would probably like. Muninn would laugh and say like, "Well, you do have a knack for wood carving. I will give you that, boy."
Anka is very pleased with himself.
Just for context's sake, Jean is like he cringed when the boyar approached, and now he's like hiding behind one of the horses, not paying attention to you guys. Miku, like before, he's paying attention to Illona, but not in the way he was before. Now he's paying attention to her like, are you a Strigoi or are you not a Strigoi?
Yeah, I was wondering what he was going to do to his crush.
Like he's shifty-eyed and like wary and all that.
Oh,
Does Illona notice this?
Up to her.
I do want to notice it.
He's not being subtle, I'll say that much.
I'm like, what? You still think I'm what's it called? A shrimp boy? What?
Well, maybe who's to say you aren't?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not. Are you?
No, of course I'm not.
Then we feel the same about it.
Give me, I suppose, a flashy roll, and I'll pose if it's careful.
That's not too bad, at least. Oh, yes.
I apologize, of course.
Don't worry about it. You're careful about people, and I respect that, you know.
I think I've been rolling the wrong careful for him, but never mind, we'll take that.
Yes.
Okay. At this point, like, if you were looking at the Boyar and Joseph, they're talking about something, and they both like appear to have like a moment of like silence, and they like then hug each other for a fairly long while, and then they shake hands, and Joseph walks back to you guys first, and he smiles at you guys like, "Oh, nothing's wrong," and the Boyar says, "Well, I wish I were a better host. I'll say that much. I apologize for everything that's happened in this past night," he says to all of you.
Illona nods and like, yeah. Don't worry about it. It was a chaotic pair of days.
Anghel doesn't remember. It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you safe travels. Master Muninn, please remember what I proposed. And, well, once Willa is safe, please bring back... And he, like, gently pats one of the horses.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking, like, oh, we could... it would probably be the easiest way to bring them back would probably just bring them back ourselves, wouldn't it? Above board.
Well, again, this, above board, like, your plan is to go to the capital and probably back. You will probably... This settlement is, like, a bit along a big trade route. Well, that might be in danger because of the forest shenanigans, but still, you'll probably pass through this place again.
Yeah, okay. Well, in that case, Muninn would, I guess, nod and sort of like, as they like, Muninn would probably like try and climb on the horse, and when they do, or if they do, they would be like, well, like say to the boy, like, oh, until then, like, you know, like, stay safe and stuff like that.
Stay safe to all of you as well. Have you all ridden horses before?
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Yep,
Does it
for
make
my
sense?
part.
Did I go ever ride before? Does
Sorry?
it make sense that he...
I'm sorry if I think I'm interrupting you. Can you say that again, please?
No, I was just gonna ask if it makes sense that he would have ridden before or not.
I think it's possible. I don't necessarily think maybe your family owned a horse, or maybe like one of the other villagers owned a horse and allowed you to ride it sometimes. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility.
Okay, cool. So he's fine with it, I guess.
Sure. Muninn, I think it's also possible for you to have ridden a horse, but I leave it up to you.
Yeah, I reckon so. I reckon Muninn has.
Sure. Of your fellow characters, Joseph definitely has. Jean definitely has because he was a cavalry officer. Miku... I'll roll a 50-50.
Okay.
1 will be yes, 2 will be no. He has. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Cool.
So you all mount up and I presume walk out of the Boyar's estate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm guessing you begin heading north and then you'll head to the west to follow the trade route to St. Paris, correctly? Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Can all of you give me a careful check to see if you notice something?
Okay.
no. Oh, Show&Tell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Muninn and Anghel, you notice that First of all, like you, especially Muninn remembers that there were supposed to be guards because you're technically at the southern entrance of the town, and there were supposed to be guards there. Again, not the correct term technically, but let's call them guards. You don't see any. And second thing, you notice footsteps coming from the forest into the town, but some of them appear to be bloody, as if the person walking had a wounded leg or whatever, a bleeding leg.
Oh shit. Okay.
What? From the forest?
From the forest.
Like a lot of people? Or
I'll say probably a dozen, but of the bloody ones, they're probably almost half of them would be bloody.
Okay.
oh shit.
Oh my god.
That's the forest we heard wolves from, right?
Yeah, and the forest people were massacred in and all that, yeah.
Yeah. If these are the same people, then Jesus.
These are the
they've done
same
well
people.
to-
Oh shit.
Yeah, they've done well to survive, I guess.
Oh,
Hey,
you
who's-
think they're living. Okay, that's good.
Well,
I was
mean,
also going to the Walking Dead scenario.
Yeah. Let's hope that they're living. Should I because it was Anghel and Muninn that noticed it was first, wasn't it? Or
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys did notice it, yeah.
okay. Should we both Anghel and I both well, I mean Muninn would stop their horse. I don't know if Anghel would as well. As
think so,
I don't
yes.
want to be
I think that stands to reason.
yeah. I feel like Muninn in that case would also warn everyone else whoa sort of point and alert everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me roll something. Okay. This was Miku's careful. He squints his eyes.
Oh, he doesn't see?
As in he does see, but he doesn't extrapolate.
Okay. Could I say could I explain I would explain what's going what I see basically.
Sure.
Okay.
Same thing applies. With Miku specifically.
What so Miku still wouldn't
Well, I did the roll assuming you would have pointed it out.
Right, okay.
Oh, he just doesn't see well enough. He doesn't. Okay.
He sees it. He sees, footprints, and some of them are bloody, but he doesn't make further connections.
Mhm.
Right, okay. I feel like Muninn would try and I don't know, should we get a closer look? I don't know.
Well.
Yeah,
very good.
sure.
Okay.
What direction are they going, or yeah.
Direction's easy enough. They're going into town.
Yeah.
into town.
You'd have to like
Well,
follow them further along to see like more specific directions, if that makes sense.
okay. Actually, I feel like Muninn would, instead of getting a closer look, Muninn would try and like shout and be like, trying to get their attention.
There meaning who?
Sorry, the like people trying to walk into town.
Well, you don't.
Or, like,
You don't like see anyone else on the road. So if you start shouting, again, it's like the sun is barely starting to rise at this point. If you start shouting, you hear someone yell, "Shut the fuck up! I'm trying to sleep here."
Rude. But I guess fair enough.
Yeah, we didn't realize what that was.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
In that case, I don't know. I feel like
The rooster starts crowing.
yeah. In that case, Muninn would just like be like, "Oh fuck this," and like just like slowly like canter over, just see if they can get a closer look, or like and try and like get everyone else to like have a look.
Sure.
I just
Joseph seems like perplexed, like why are we wasting our time with this? But he goes along. Jean is in his own world. Miku is like still pondering. Yeah, give me carefuls, everyone, if you'd like. And depending on the roll, I'll tell you more or less information.
No.
Oh, you also, all right. You also, all the rolls are in. Anghel, you recognize that it's like the typical footwear Rima peasants wear, if that makes sense. You also, well, you will also recognize that it's that. Actually, no, you wouldn't. My bad. That was a mistake. Yeah, it's typical footwear that Rima peasants wear, both the like bloody ones and the not bloody ones.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have like a more specific question that maybe I can answer?
Like, do they look? I mean, their like their faces and stuff. Besides their legs, is there anything else odd about them? Like,
a bunch of them are limping.
Right.
Specifically the wounded ones, but also some of the not wounded ones.
oh, and are they they look in pain? Like, basically.
Well, you know, when you limp, your footsteps aren't even. That's what you see. Like the imprint on the ground of like some of the pairs of footsteps isn't even.
This is definitely some Walking Dead type of shit.
Oh my god, hang on a minute. Yeah, definitely, by the way. I just had a
I'm
thought
thinking.
as well. I just had a thought. I feel like Muninn would like Muninn would turn to Illona, right? And be like, "Have you still got that orb on you?"
Yeah. Do you want to have it?
Yeah, or just like you don't have to chuck it to me, but just like you might want to take it out just in case. You might want to have a look at it.
I do so.
Is it glowing?
It is glowing.
Oh
and,
no!
Yeah, Joseph and Miku stare at it, like both like, wait, what's that?
I think we should get out of here. I don't feel like this is the time to be the hero.
Oh god.
Like Illona says.
We're just gonna be the villain and leave.
Yes.
Should we actually? Should we like not warn the village first? I mean, fair enough, but
Right.
It's up for you. Like Illona's cast her vote. Whatever you do is completely up to you.
although to be fair, I feel like if like we won the village, we'll probably be blamed somehow.
Oh my god, yes. Yes. But we could just like be, or maybe you could just be like writing kind of fast, like starting to write kind of fast, kind of. like warn
Yeah.
them on the way.
Yeah.
Run for our lives, and then I don't know, and then do that ourselves.
Could do, yeah.
I want you to like see this from like Joseph's perspective. Like suddenly all of you like panicked over a set of footsteps, and then you pull out this weird orb that's glowing, and suddenly all of you start panicking.
Yeah. It's a bit suspicious.
Yeah, okay. I totally
I mean,
thought.
he's not like a policeman or anything, but
Yeah. But still.
You don't need to be a policeman to connect the dots here. Yeah. For some reason, I was thinking we were seeing the actual people. We just see like
the footprints.
footsteps.
Yeah.
Okay. Footprints. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So
we don't actually know where they are right now.
You know that they are heading further into town. Coincidentally, it will also be like the same route you would follow to exit the town to the west.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. I might just look at the map. They might not need to warn the village. Because
Wait, what? We're taking the same road?
I mean, the main road is
the big gray road, pretty much. Well,
Yeah.
also keep in mind that you're at the very southern portion of the town, so you don't know that like once the road branches off, that the footsteps are heading in a different direction or not.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And going through the forest would be kind of stupid. Also, with horses, it's I don't.
It would be
Um,
difficult.
Yeah.
Illona would say, like, this sounds crazy, but if we do try to slaughter a cow, maybe we can get help with this. Maybe we can actually get a good outcome.
What is
Except for the
wrong?
cow.
What is wrong with you people? Says Joseph.
Don't ask. Slaughter a cow, but we don't have a cow. Okay.
You
We
probably.
go back to the boyard.
I
Give
mean-
us other cow.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can probably find cows in like people's like backyards if you want.
Yeah, I was thinking, but that is crazy. And, and I think, the orb is doing that, and then we're basically using whatever, like entities in the orb or whatever, or connected to the orb or something to help us.
We could try to find, like, was it hawks that Arcesius liked?
Wolves and hawks.
Wolves and hawks. I guess we could find a wolf or a hawk as well, but cows seem more accessible.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, that's the only thing we can think of. I mean, okay, yeah, I don't know.
So what's the plan?
I'm making interested.
What's that's a good question. So are we going around and we're gonna looking for a cattle? Or is that what we're doing?
I don't think you'll need to. I will not make you roll because there will be cows here, but
Okay.
to kill the cow sneakily, I will need a roll.
Yeah.
And Joseph just still didn't get an answer. He's still like just, I don't know.
Wait,
You get the inkling that he would be
does
opposed to
Muninn
this.
have like a stunt that would help with this?
Oh. I don't know. Hang on, let me have a look. Not really. I don't really have a stunt that can help with this sort of thing. I have +2 clever when reading a book or an old book, or
Well, we
Learn
established
from aspect.
previously that like +2 clever thing does apply when trying to like interpret the orb or whatever.
oh,
Right.
interesting.
Because it did apply to
Nice.
some of your roles in that regard in the previous episodes.
Okay.
Wait,
Wh-
could I make a stunt right here, right now, and use it?
Yeah.
I would like to call it stealth kill, and I would like to get away with murder once per session.
Sure. Yeah, I will require you to update your character sheet, but sure. Well, update it after the session, yeah.
For sure. Hell yeah, you stunt.
Yeah. You now have a new stunt, yeah? And I'm assuming the murder part doesn't necessarily have to be like a human.
No, just commit any type of murder. Anything dies.
Well, if
Great
like I will say that if like you try to use it against like something way like more powerful or whatever than you,
Oh yeah.
like in that case it will not be, it will still give you like an advantage in potential combat, but not an instant kill. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Makes sense.
You now have a shiny new stunt.
Hee
Which I think is the first time in like any campaign I've run that a player made a stunt mid-session. I mean, it's perfectly legal. You can do it. It's just like the first time that it's happened.
It's cool. Feels like I'm breaking laws, but I'm not. It's a good feeling. Now let's commit cow murder.
And to clarify, it would include your allies in this, correct? Because Joseph will not like that.
Mm.
Well, neither will Miku really, but more Jean if like you can rouse him to care.
How would it like would I need to convince them first, or is it just
No, because it's a stunt, it's again something you can do like intrinsically, if that's the right word. Like we can just say for narrative's sake, like you guys continue riding on your horses and Illona hangs behind the group and goes and does a thing, but manages to rejoin the group before anyone becomes suspicious.
okay? Yeah, do it like that.
Okay. So, you are using your stunt to sneak off into some random's household and kill their cow in honor of
Yes.
a deity in a sphere. Okay. Okay. Yeah, for simplicity's sake, you do that. We sort of described the narrative steps before that. And do you want to describe how you killed the cow, I guess?
Okay. I sneak up to it, you know, like the bad guy movie high knees sneak, and then I like karate chop the cow's neck
Sure.
and killing it with that.
Sure, it falls to the ground, and you hear a familiar female voice in your mind say, as you clearly notice the orb glowing, "That was less bloody than I'm used to, but it works. What is it you desire, child?"
Oh gosh, what do I ask her for? Help.
Yeah.
I was wondering,
Yeah.
why are you doing this?
My initial thought was like either wanting to know more about the army of, I guess, undead, like that's coming into town, or like getting help from her defeating them. Would it be fine like if I ask her first to know more about them and then help with defeating, or would I need to slaughter more cows?
I think it would be acceptable. So you ask her about the army of undead, let's say, and she says, I believe the locals call them Strigoi. I think that's the right term. They have this peculiar tradition of when an unmarried man dies and he is not buried properly, he goes and slaughters his family.
Oh shit.
Oh.
We
So
heard about
many-
this.
So many unmarried men, okay.
Well, it is a big forest. And you did lure some bandits to their deaths earlier.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that's crazy. I'm like mind blown by that.
I
Still,
guess our
this,
actions do have consequences.
Yeah.
this gesture is pleasing to me, child. And, well, I suppose I never gave you my name, did I?
You didn't, no.
I'll type it in chat because it might be a bit hard to get the things across.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
You may call you may call me Nictelios, or the
Helios.
or the eternal slumber, the night, whatever you'd like.
Oh, okay. Cool name though.
It is. Cooler than Taco Bell.
Somehow.
Taco Bell.
I guess I ask her to help with saving the families of the unmarried men.
And how do you suggest that, child? I can aid you, of course, but what do you want me to drop those Strigoi on the ground? Do you want me to return them to the site of their death? What would you like me to do? My domain... Well, keep in mind the limits of my domain, I suppose.
Are you all down with it if I have her aid us and we go fight them?
And we go what?
Fight them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get what you said. What?
Go fight them. We actively engage with fighting them off.
Yeah, I think we should.
Or I could ask her to neutralize them enough that they since she's she mentioned eternal sleep and stuff. If she makes them go to sleep and we can get a chance to bury them, so they actually have a funeral.
Oh, what a banal solution. But of course, I'm always willing to aid a supplicant. And you, my dear, have been so very interesting.
Thank you. But should we do that, or should we...
Yeah, no, I think that sounds... Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that
makes
sounds
sense.
Alright.
good.
Then Illona nods to her and says thank you for the help.
Then it is done, and well, alright. All of them will fall into blissful sleep, still alive or unalive, I suppose. I'd much on well, the Rima have another fun tradition that the way to deal with a Strigoi is to burn it or to drive a stake through its heart. It's much more theatrical than just a traditional burial, don't you think?
True.
If you do that for me, I'd be much obliged. Well, you don't have to, of course, but it would foster our growing partnership.
Would it affect them differently than if we buried them?
They would still be dead. Death is death.
Alright.
I guess that makes sense.
Feel free
burying all those.
Ilona, feel free to roll me a careful and I'll oppose with a sneaky.
Oi, oi, oi. I'm not very mindful to... Oh, holy shit.
Wow.
I fail miserably.
Oh.
You weren't likely to succeed anyway, but it was always possible. I mean, technically, this is more or less a deity, yeah?
Damn.
So what
she's
happens?
tricking me.
You don't know that.
Oh no.
Okay. And I guess I'm off. Thank you for putting them to sleep, and we will go get rid of them.
If like a smile could be heard, you would hear a smile.
Yes.
I do hope we meet again.
Illona waves as she goes.
Okay. And as described, you managed to return to your party without anyone being the wiser because of your stunt.
Okay. Awesome.
Nice.
Interesting. So
And-
now,
Back.
As you continue riding, you'll see that one of the footsteps leads to a house, and you'll recognize the house because you tried to sneak through its backyard a few episodes back.
Oh.
is the old man or the old lady? Was it an old lady? I don't know.
Well, let's roll a d2. 'Cause the outcome will be the same.
I mean, he did have a dog, though. So is
Yeah,
it the
the old
same?
man had a dog.
It is the old man, and you see, unfortunately, what looks to be a sleeping, wounded young person clutching a dead old person. Like for this house,
Oh,
for this
gosh.
house at least, you were too late.
Oh,
No, no.
poor guy.
Well,
Well,
we just leave them alone, sort of thing.
Miku and Joseph look horrified.
Yeah.
Miku starts praying.
I'm asking Miku, wasn't this what you talked about before? Like, the one time we buried your ex-workmate? Sorry about that, by the way.
He will yell out loud, "Are you saying there's Strigoi in this town?"
I don't know, you told me. There's bloody footsteps. And we just saw one really wounded guy.
For perspective, he like yells so loudly like Muninn yelled previously.
Alright. We hear another one of those. Shut the fuck up!
Yeah.
Well, at least you're alive, dude. For now.
He looks horrified. And he says, "Fire, fire! We need fire or a stake. Come!" And he like jumps off his horse and like starts climbing a tree and says, "I need to get a branch and we have to shape it. Come on, help me."
I help him, I aid him.
Yeah.
Sure. With
One branch? Okay.
the description,
Like-
well, the description he gave was, you need to drive a stake through the heart.
Yeah. Wasn't that what she wanted as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. But, like, do we leave the stake inside or do we need, like, a few stakes? Oh, we have, like, one person here. Okay.
One stake, one heart. Leave it there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Like, I was just thinking about the others that we have to face. But, okay, yeah.
Well, with all of you, well, at least Illona and Anghel helping. Yeah, no need to roll or anything. You managed to do that, and like Miku impales the stake in the younger person, wounded person, sleeping wounded person's heart, and you clearly like see this thing is clearly dead now.
Okay.
Nice. I say to Miku, we should go look if there's more of them. If we... This one was...
Are you kidding
Weirdly,
me?
like,
Are you
asleep.
kidding me? We have to get the hell out of here.
But how was he asleep? How did this happen?
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
Because you just... I think we could save people. This one is... asleep somehow?
We can't save people if we can't save ourselves.
I'll save you. Come on. And I'm like start walking there with
Illona.
Meanwhile, while all this was happening, Joseph will whisper to you, Muninn, what the hell is going on here?
Muninn would sort of not whisper, but like say back, like, these men are all sort of Strigoi, if you know what that is.
You know that's nonsense, right?
Well, I mean, if you told me that a week ago, I would have said the same thing. But I mean, trust me, it's not. This isn't good news.
Look, the reasonable explanation is like some people survived the wolf attack from yesterday, and they walked back into town. They probably got drunk and they got into a fight. It happens all the time.
Anghel shaking his head.
Yeah.
Anghel, come on.
I think Muninn would say, like, look, I'm not the superstitious type either, but I mean, we have
we had encounters before.
Yeah, we've had encounters like this before. And I mean, look at me, like, I'm not a person of, like, you could, like, I'm probably the last person in this group to be as, like, superstitious.
Can you give me a flashy roll and I'll oppose with Joseph's forceful?
Okay. Oh no.
For goodness sake, have all... And he was about to like say something rude, but then he like remembers Anghel's there and says, look, let's just go on our way. Whatever this was, I'm sure it was just some weird drunken brawl. Let's just keep going.
Look, I don't think it's a good idea. So obviously Muninn would say, I don't think it's a good idea to just leave this, like, as, like, to walk away. But I mean, you can, like, I'm not stopping you, but I mean, we do need to, like, as in, like, gesturing to, like, everyone apart from him, like, including Muninn, like, we do need to do something, or else more people are gonna die.
Miku will say, no, we need to run. Joseph will say, we don't need to run, but we don't need to deal with whatever this is. Look, drunken brawls happen all the time. Look, this was clearly a long day, a long night, a long all of that. I'm sure there's... Can we just keep going?
Well, I guess Muninn would look to everyone else, like, what does everyone else think? Should we? Like, probably not.
Again, Miku will vote for running the hell away. Jean is a bit lost and confused, and also, like, busy with his own thoughts.
Illona is already like half jogging into the city after them.
Oh, we're not going on horse? I mean, I don't know. We're leaving the horses behind?
Oh, no. Maybe she's on the horse.
Okay. So Anghel will follow her.
If you're running ahead, Miku will follow as well.
Okay.
And if Anghel goes, Joseph will go, but he will mutter under his breath.
Good old Joseph. Okay. So
John looks at you, Muninn, and shrugs. And he asks Senzemi, I have no idea what you people are doing. You all seem mad.
Well, I mean, I like the idea of using fire. I feel like that would be a really quick way to deal with, like, the Strigoi.
I just like adore the idea. I know it's not what you're doing, but I love the idea that like Jean said, I think you people are crazy, and Muninn would reply, well, I think we should burn these people.
Yeah.
That's good.
Like what?
Yeah.
Like, look, trust me. Watch this, and he like sets fire to all of these like helpless people.
Well, all Muninn, you decide. Everyone else, you would come at like I'll ping the spot on the map, more or less around here, like at the first junction of the road, and you will see what looks to be like a bunch of like sleeping individuals, some of them more or less wounded, lying on the ground. Now, one thing I maybe didn't make clear, Strigoi, like, they're undead, but they're not rotting, is the thing. Like, you would have to look closely and do some weird rituals to realize they're Strigoi, not like living people, if that makes sense.
Oh. Okay. Like they're
If it
not
weren't,
all of them.
if it weren't for the fact that they were like brutally mauled when they died, you wouldn't recognize that they're undead.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
So, like, but all the sleeping people right now are Strigoi.
Well, you see a bunch of people, like young men specifically, sleeping on the street. Like, they were clearly like, they all look like they were going somewhere and they like suddenly fell face first.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, one of them's already had a stake through their heart, haven't they? So, like, we've seen
the one you
of them-
encountered earlier, yeah.
Yeah. So we've seen at least one of them. Like, did you say they disintegrate when they die?
I didn't.
If they're-
Well, I didn't say that, but if you burn a corpse, it burns. If you just put a stake through it, it has a stake through it, and it's dead, like perma dead.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, and we need to do some rituals to. What did you say? To find out who it is?
Well, again, this is if it weren't obvious that these people are Strigoi. Like,
Oh, okay, okay.
Right.
just as an example, and let's say Miku like babbles about this. One way to realize if like a grave in a graveyard belongs to a Strigoi or not is to put a 7-year-old boy in white clothing on a white horse, and the horse will walk to the grave of the Strigoi.
Let's do that.
Okay, interesting.
You're nowhere near the graveyard, but sure.
Okay.
Well, you're faced with a bunch of sleeping undead that, again, you clearly see the way they died, like mauled by wild animals.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Illona would be piercing them with, I guess, homemade stakes.
Miku would probably be correcting you. No, you have to leave the stake in. Don't use the same one.
Okay. So she
Okay,
would
Anghel also
leave
needs
it in.
a steak. Okay, we're making sticks in count. Okay. Okay. He's doing that too.
Okay.
You can carve him. It's perfect.
I'll be carving them. You'll be staking them. I'll do it like a business.
Yes, a factory.
Joseph says, "Why are you killing these people again?"
Feel like
No time
one
for
of-
questions. Like I shove a
Yeah,
mistake.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I'm just like, whatever, dude.
No, he'll
already
get
dead.
off his horse and try to interpose himself. Like, you're killing innocent people. What the hell are you doing?
Look, I think Muninn would be like, look, they're already dead. They're Strigoi. They're undead. And if
They're
If we
wounded
don't-
people. They're probably heading to someplace to seek healing, and they collapsed. Can't you see that?
could I feel like I don't know if this would prove it, but I just like to try it. could Muninn like? I feel like Muninn would walk over to Illona and like ask for the orb.
I would give it to you as I'm like shoving another stake into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
It glows brightly.
okay. So like Muninn would like move the orb like close to the bodies and be like, look, this isn't some like smoke and mirrors bullshit. Like this it detects like this is related to sort of like magic, superstitious, like whatever, you know. Like that's how Muninn would say it too.
You know it's not difficult to make a lamp, right?
This isn't this isn't a lamp. This is look, and then Muninn I feel would like hold it to him so that he could peer into it. Because like, can't you like peer into it and see like?
I don't think that's happened before.
Okay.
Like all the things you've seen was as part of like dreams.
Yeah. Okay. How else could we do it? I guess it's just like. I guess Muninn would put the. Because Muninn wanted the orb anyway. Muninn would like put the orb away. Like.
I'll pass it on to you. I'll pass it on to you.
Sorry? Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you mean. And then Muninn would just be like, look, just trust us. Like, we're not... These aren't people. Or not anymore, anyway.
For the love... Can you give me another... flashy or careful, and I'll oppose with his forceful?
I'll do a careful. There we are. Oh, I don't know if that worked. Oh, okay.
We'll take the 6 because that was the first roll.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think he would be convinced, but he would be like he'd stop fighting you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I feel like in which case Muninn would probably hand him a stake.
He will walk away and climb back on his horse.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna fly.
No, definitely not. Well, Muninn would shrug and just sort of like carry on, sort of thing.
Sure.
And like helping everyone else.
You carry on. Can all of you give me quick rolls and we'll take the average?
Yeah. Oh no.
I'm not so quick.
Okay, so that's 2, 3 divide 1. So it's a tie. Okay. This is an overcome roll. So tie on an overcome means you guys succeed at a slight negative cost.
Okay.
Our clothes are all bloody now.
Yeah, and we have splinters.
Oh gosh, not splinters.
I mean, above board, this roll was to see like if you do it fast enough before the townspeople wake up.
Right.
Okay, so we do succeed, but with a disadvantage. Okay.
With something
So
negative happening.
Maybe some of them. Oh, not the. So obviously not the Strigoi.
Well, I get to decide. I get to decide.
Oh right. Okay.
Oh, okay.
But I'm basically asking, is this acceptable, or would you like to improve your roll?
I think it's acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what I think happens is, which one of you is the most uncomfortable with all this?
Not me.
Most uncomfortable?
Like with driving stakes through people that seem kind of alive's hearts.
Anghel then? I don't know.
Sure. Anghel, while you're doing all this and you drive a stake, but because you're like jittery, you don't drive it through the heart. Instead, you drive it through its stomach, let's say. And this thing starts moving and getting up.
Good job. Okay.
Okay.
Shit.
And now we shall be in initiative order, pretty much. Okay. So, what are your quicks? Oh, this thing will go first. Lovely. Anghel, this thing will turn at you with its like mauled face and try to bite you. How do you resist that?
Shit. Can I pull the stick out of its stomach?
I mean,
Really fast?
sure, but that's like, how would that be a defense?
Because and then, I mean, can I like kind of pull it and then kind of, put it in the way of its mouth? Kind of.
Oh, sure. I will need a. That sounds like a quick defense from you.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh, is that him? Cool.
Sure.
Quick. Not good.
How do you take 3 points of damage?
Nah. 3 consequence.
Well, 3 stress, I think you mean, because
3 stress is what I meant. Yes.
sure thing. Next in the initiative would be Muninn.
Okay. I feel like after Muninn notices this, they would try and like quickly. Yeah, my quick's pretty good. But Muninn would quickly like try and like help Anghel and like drive a stake through the heart of the Strigoi.
Give me. That sounds forceful.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Fair enough. I'll roll that. Ah.
Oh, nice. Not nice enough.
Okay, it gets an advantage. It bats your side with ease and probably knocks you on your butt and says, "Leave me alone."
Oh shit. It talks. Okay.
God.
I mean, I did say they're more or less indistinguishable from living people. These guys are special because they like died in a horrific way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy shit.
I'll call it unnatural strength. The advantage he gets.
Yeah.
I think Miku's first reaction will be to scream in panic and run. No, I'll roll a d2 to see if he like musters his courage. 1 will be he flees, a 2 will be he musters his courage. Okay, he turns tail.
Oh well.
Oh man.
Anghel and Illona?
You wanna go first?
Sure. I try to. Oh shit! It got a 7 last time.
I mean, it was
Okay.
very lucky. It was very lucky, though.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for telling me. I try to stake it in the heart.
Sounds like a forceful to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Why?
It also bats you aside and gets another charge on an unnatural strength.
Yikes.
So Illona would sneakily go like behind him so he doesn't see and try to jab the stake from his back, into the heart, but from the back.
Yeah.
Give me a sneaky roll, and someone or something will be providing a +1 assist to you.
Ooh. Hell yeah!
Ah.
You drive it in and this thing yells out in pain, but it's not quite down yet.
Go Illona, though.
Woohoo!
Joseph will say, all right, everyone, please calm down. Oh, God. And he will...
He believes us now? Okay.
I don't know about the undead part, but he would believe about a creep attacking you guys. I guess he'll step up and like get ready to intervene if it attacks mostly Anghel, but also Muninn, because Muninn happens to be nearby. So he'll try to create an advantage.
Okay.
And he does. Okay.
Yeah.
And he actually does with style at that, so he gets 2 charges.
Oh,
Nice.
Nice.
Joseph, who knew you had it in you? Okay.
Don't touch my friends is his advantage. Jean... I think Jean is disarmed, I think. So... Ooh, what would Jean do? I think he... yeah, I think he's foolhardy enough to try to tackle the thing.
oh gosh.
Well, it bats him aside, but not as severely as you'd expect. On its turn, Illona, you pissed it off. It's going to smack you.
Oh no.
How do you defend yourself?
I'm trying to think of it like a sneaky way to defend myself. But I can't really figure that out. I could try to like headbutt him first.
Oh, my bad. That was 4 points of damage because I forgot to count your previous assist. So he'll, instead of his level 3 stress, he'll take his level 4 consequence. Do you have an idea for that? For the title of the consequence?
Painful chest.
Sure. Okay. Sorry for interrupting.
No problem. I tried to like duck, but also like have my cape up so he gets confused where he hits. So hopefully he just hits like fabric and not me.
Sure, I guess that sounds sneaky, but
Yes, I made it.
sure.
Good job.
And you succeed in defending. Muninn.
Hell yeah.
And this thing will yell, "Leave me alone!"
Cranky.
I feel bad for the guy, you know what I mean?
Have a Snickers.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what. Maybe Muninn would try and. I'm just looking at the stats and everything. Maybe Muninn would try and. It would have to be a really, really hard throw. I was thinking Muninn would throw a stake. It would be it would have to be a really hard throw.
Yeah.
So maybe Muninn could throw a stake at his head to distract him rather than to actually like deal damage. Or maybe like kind of like a combination, like kind of dealing damage a little bit, but also as a just like to disorient him.
Sure. That sounds like a careful or a sneaky. Are you using it to attack, like, or to create an advantage?
I could use it as an advantage.
Sure.
I guess.
Then give me a careful. Difficulty... Yeah, 2, I was about to say. Okay, you get your advantage.
I read your mind.
What would you like it to be called?
Concussed, maybe. I don't know.
Sure. Miku, let's see if he regains his courage. I'll actually give him a bit of a bigger chance because everyone else is fighting. Still no. Okay. He is starting to... he gets up on his horse. Okay. Anghel and Illona. How much more are you guys willing to go for? How much longer, I should say.
Yeah.
Maybe not too long.
Yeah, I also think.
Sure.
We could wrap this up, but...
Sure. Well, let's see how this round goes, and if I deem something narratively important to happen on... Because above board, if a sufficient number of turns passes, something narrative will happen. But let's see if it will be the case or not, okay? So, Anghel and Illona, it's your turns.
You wanna go first again?
I don't remember. What happened to Anghel?
He got, like, you tried to impale it and it smacked you away, you landed on your butt.
Oh, I did too. Okay. So... I guess... I don't know. Maybe I would try to, like... I mean, so Angel's like far away from it at the moment?
Not too far. You can attack it. Like, even, like, melee it if you'd like.
Okay. So maybe Angel tries to come up behind it and kind of hit it.
Yeah, it's currently not facing you guys because it's trying to attack Illona. True.
Okay, good. And I wasn't sure what was going on. And he's gonna knock. I hope that does something, but he's gonna knock a rock into its brain.
Sounds forceful or sneaky because you're attacking from behind, either or.
It's the same. Why did I think my forceful was that good? I don't know. So okay, let's do forceful.
You gain an advantage on a tie. What would you like your advantage to be called?
Oh, it already was concussed, right? I don't remember.
I guess you can ask Munin's permission to use the advantage to deal damage, I guess. Or you can just create the advantage. Or improve your roll, fate points, etc., etc. All the options.
No, I think an advantage is good. I just trying to think. It's already concussed, so what else could it be?
Headache.
What?
It's just like, I don't know, headache.
But you could do damage with it, right?
What do you mean?
Like, if Moon is okay with that, you could do damage with that aspect.
Oh, like use his advantage?
If Muninn allows you.
Right. But...
You also have your own fate points if you want to improve your roll, etc., etc.
Does it count that I'm protecting people here? Or is it...
You're asking if you can use Joseph's advantage, or are you talking about your aspect? Sorry.
I'm talking about my aspect. My stun? No, that has nothing to do with anything. No, never mind.
Well, what's the wording on your stunt? Because it might. I don't quite remember the exact
No,
wording.
it's about the force ball. No, it has. It's, no, but there was some. But I do have an aspect of being protective. So
You do.
So-
Give me a second. Sorry. Because I'm trying to look at your character sheet.
that's why I was.
Your stunt. I think we did. Yeah, we did use it. In like the bandit fight, because.
That's why I remembered it was the
Yeah,
force ball was strong because I have +2. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't like take a defense in place of someone else. Yeah, so you can use it, and it would apply, meaning you would deal 2 damage to the thing if you'd like.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, it will take its level 2 stress. Illona?
I would go for like, where is his attention right now?
It was on you, then Anghel smacked it in the back. It like looks behind and it looks back at you. It looks like a cornered animal. Like it actually like hisses at you almost animalistically. And give me a careful, just to like interpret what its next move will likely be. It's probably going to like try to push past you to try to escape.
Okay. Illona. I don't think of anything else I can do except like make a jab with the dagger at the heart area. Again.
Mistake. You mean?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
Sure. Sounds quick or forceful. I can also like take careful if you're aiming carefully. Up to you.
Yeah. My carefuls are awful today.
He smacks you aside.
Yeah.
Joseph's turn. Does Joseph have a weapon? The bandits would have taken his weapons. Would you guys have given him a weapon? Like before this?
I mean, he didn't want to fight. I don't know.
We gave him a stake though, didn't we? Like Muninn gave him a stake and he jumped up at his horse.
Well, he did not accept the stake.
Ah, sorry.
I guess. Yeah, I guess Joseph will try to imitate Jean and tackle the thing. And he actually does. The thing takes its level 2 consequence.
Damn.
Shit.
So now-
I'll call it restricted movement, like it applies to this situation. But if it like gets out of its tackle, you can imply that maybe Joseph damaged its legs somehow. Okay.
Okay.
Jean's turn. He'll try to kick it in the head, I guess. And fail miserably, giving it another advantage. Okay.
Oh.
No, just don't do anything. Just stay. Stay.
Okay. The Strigoi gets another charge on unnatural strength. Now, it's too early for the narrative thing I mentioned to happen. It would take at least another turn. The Strigoi is technically more or less-ish at kind of half health-ish. Should we stop now or should we continue? No pressure either way. Okay?
Maybe stop now.
Yeah, I think so, because I have a lot of things I need to do.
Sure. My apologies. Okay. Then...
No, it's all good.
Okay. Well, what are your thoughts on today's session?
I loved it. This was awesome.
We
Yeah.
go away.
It was sick.
It was fun.
Yeah. And again, this is like where Bram Stoker took his inspiration for the vampire. So yeah.
Yeah, sounds
that's sick.
similar in a lot of ways, for sure.
Also somewhat different, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm also very glad this episode, not just because of like the mystical stuff that happened. Also, I really did not expect for you, Illona, to actually sacrifice something. But
Yeah, it was just like, let's do it.
Yeah.
but also because you like took the time to like investigate the boyar and all that, and you found some clues. Now, I wouldn't say information, but you found plenty of clues.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
I was so interested about the room that Muninn found. The
Mhm.
one.
With the papers?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Me too. I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. I really wanted to like explore more, but I don't know, I didn't want to.
Yeah,
Because of
I mean,
the
it's
consequences.
understandable.
Again, risk reward, actions have consequences, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys did great, all things considered. So, good on you for that.
Thank you.
Yay!
I'm so happy how everything today. Like that we used the game mechanics so much as well. Like a lot of stunts, a lot of
Yeah, right. We
as-
haven't used them in a while.
yeah.
That's right.
And I got a new stunt. I'm really happy about that.
Please make a... Well, I'll also like badger you about it, but please do remember to add it to your character sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys did... Again, you guys did great, all things considered. I should mention... this isn't the warning I really need to give, because you guys didn't like quote-unquote fall into that quote-unquote trap, but like when an NPC like Joseph or Miku were this episode, when an NPC like insists on you guys doing something, it doesn't actually mean that you have to do it. It's just that it's in the NPC's character to insist, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I'm saying because there were situations like in the other campaign, and I can see situations happening in this campaign as well, where you guys might feel like cornered and you might feel that I, the DM, am forcing you in a direction. But really it's just that's what this NPC wants, and they will try to force you, but you don't have to abide by it. Make sense?
Yeah. It makes
Yeah, it
sense.
does.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Okay. But yeah, once again, Miku foreshadows mystical crap happening.
Yeah. What
It's
else?
great
He
to have on the
mentioned
team.
something else, didn't he? Something about water or something?
The Water Witch, yeah.
Yeah. We need to remember that too.
Definitely.
Anghel will probably know about it, but I'll like reveal that information in game if it ever comes up.
Okay. Shit.
But yeah, also again, like you guys have your own like perspective, which is also like influenced by like your real life perceptions and information. But keep in mind that like for these NPCs, your NPC companions, this is a bunch of crazy shit. So please forgive them if like their first instinct is run away.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I totally get it. It's like very realistic,
Yeah.
and it's fun to see their reaction to our craziness.
Okay. But what are your thoughts? I don't just want to like monologue about this.
No, I mean, not to go first or anything. I thought this was, as in, as far as like the whole session and stuff is concerned, like I thought it was really good. I think it was like, I feel like a lot happened, and like I don't know, quite a lot of sort of agreements and stuff were made. Do you know what I mean? Getting getting John, was it John that was being tortured? Sorry, or...
It's the way his name is spelled is the letter J from John. Sorry, A N. So Jean.
So John, yeah. So like the fact that we saved him from being tortured and like just like and like finding the interesting stuff about like the painting and the ceremonial sword and stuff like that was really sick. I felt like there was a lot of stuff behind the lines or between the
Yeah.
lines, if you know what I mean. Not behind the lines,
Definitely.
between the lines.
Clues.
It's like
Yeah.
It's clues, not information, it's clues, like I mentioned.
Yeah, exactly.
it feels like so rich. It's like every direction you look, there's like a bunch of stuff to discover. It's like
Totally.
Yeah.
very many options. I love it.
Well, I'm glad you think so. Like, if like when in the distant future when this campaign's over, if you like don't reveal the like mysteries or whatever, save your questions, I guess, and I'll answer them when like there's no stake involved.
Oh,
Hell
that
yeah.
would be so cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
We have to do
That'd be a
that.
long list.
Okay. Well, I guess I should mention, not to like spring this on you guys, but at the moment it's mostly like reminding you guys, hey, remember you discovered this in this place, blah blah blah. It might be a good idea to maybe have like a quote unquote assigned note taker, if that makes sense, of the things you discover
Oh.
and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have one.
You have a what? Sorry.
A little notebook I write stuff in, but I'm terrible at reminding myself of doing it in the moment. But some stuff are in.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. No, that's really good.
And again, no pressure. You can like continue without the quote unquote official note taker, so to say. But it's, I guess, recommended. Maybe sometimes I'll forget stuff in the moment as well. You never know. And honestly, I do have a lot of stuff to manage, not just remembering which clues you discovered and which you didn't.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
No pressure though.
Yeah.
No pressure though, and don't take it as like an accusation or anything, okay?
Of course not.
Okay. Suppose any other thoughts before we go into our shoutouts?
Nope. Head empty.
Okay. Well, dear viewers, thank you once again for watching and listening to us. I'll ask these lovely people to talk about themselves and how great they are. As usual, I have dice in the background, and the dice have decided that the alphabetical order shall be the order we go in, meaning Ashen goes first because your name starts with A. So can you please go ahead and talk about yourself, Ashen?
That is true. Yes, I'm Ash. I draw a bunch of stuff, and if you like it or crafts or anything like that, please check me out on Insta. And if you do similar stuff, I'll be super interested in seeing what you do. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Do check Ashen out. She has an incredible art style, honestly.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, and next with the alphabetical order, we would have Deli. Could you please introduce yourself? Talk about yourself, my bad.
That's all right. Hello, everyone. Of course, I've been Dely. I am a Goblin VTuber over on Twitch.tv outside of these sessions. I stream variety games mostly. Hopefully more community games in the future. That'd be cool. So if you want to come say hi in the chat, feel free. It's I mean, you know, like it's cool meeting new people. So yeah.
Does awesome streams. Do check them out. Highly recommend. Thank you very much. And next we have Show&Tell. Could you please talk about yourself and what you're doing?
Yes, of course. Hi, I'm Show. I have a YouTube channel on which I react to a bunch of anime mostly, but also other things. Yeah, from time to time.
do check her out. She does awesome reactions, and it's honestly like whenever I watch something, she's the first like reaction channel I check out. Guilty pleasure, I guess. Thank you very much, Show&Tell. And I was your Dungeon Master, Game Master, Teeironor. I do this series. I do another TTRPG series, also using the Fate Accelerated system, set in the Warcraft universe. Been running for a bit of a longer while, and for the moment, at least, that's that. Well, again, dear viewers, thank you for watching and listening to us. We will be back probably next week, and we will see you then. Goodbye, everybody.